Hello and welcome to today's video. I am going to do a follow-up to last week's video, which was my one and done eyeshadows. I'm going to do my favorite topper slash wet look sheer to medium eyeshadows. I'll find a catchier name for the title, hopefully. They have a similar idea to a one and done, but they're a bit more versatile because they don't have as much of a base pigment, or maybe they have no base pigment, and they have that kind of a glossy or a wet look effect on your eyelid. You can either wear them on their own or you can apply them on top of a liquid or cream or powder eyeshadow, and it will can kind of change how they look depending on what is underneath them. I'm going to go in order from the most subtle to the most shiny, I think. And then I also have some honorable mentions because the ones that I'm going to talk about today are singles, or they're part of palettes that can be bought as singles. So I kind of cheated a little bit, but they're all products that can be bought in a single pan. And then I'm going to do some honorable mentions that are part of palettes or like duos or that kind of thing. This is one of my favorite kind of makeup products, so I'm very excited to talk about these eyeshadows today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite topper eyeshadows are. Have you tried any of these? And let's just get straight into the video. The first eyeshadow I'm going to talk about today is the one I wore on my wedding day. I'm going to show it to you as part of the little palette that I made up for my wedding day. This is Lisa Eldridge. It's a mixture of Vega and Cinnabar. Please excuse the state of it. It's very well loved, but I used these colors all for my wedding day, and this was, I kind of used a little bit of Ritual, but this is the shade Supernova from the Vega palette. Obviously these are all in palettes, but I thought I would include them because the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows can be bought as singles, as a refill, so you can buy it and put it into your own palette. I wore this on my wedding day, so obviously I love this shade, but it is what I would call a chic shimmer. Really gorgeous formula, just a pleasure to use, and it kind of doesn't give as much of a high impact shine as some of the other products that I'm going to mention. This is maybe more for people who want a little bit of a dimension or a little bit of a shine to their lid, but they don't want glitter, they don't want like high impact. So I definitely think there's a place for all of these eyeshadows depending on your preferences, because some people want a bit of a shimmer but they don't want like in your face shimmer. So this is what I was described as, like a kind of a chic grown up kind of a shimmer, like, you know, an everyday shimmer, I suppose. That is it on my finger. It is described as a silver with rose pink and silver sparkles. So it is kind of a little bit more cool toned, and we'll just do a little swatch. I'm going to try and do the swatches a bit better than I did them the last time. That is one swatch. It kind of has that rose pink, like it's very subtle. Like if you turn it that way, you can see the pink shift in it, but it has that kind of icy quality as well. Quite a good neutral shade, I would say. But that is Lisa Eldridge Supernova from the Vega palette. It's such a gorgeous shade. The thing I like about that is it doesn't really have much of a base pigment, like as you can see. So it's really nice. It just kind of gives a little bit of that shine to your lids. It was ideal for my wedding because I wanted a little bit of dimension, but I didn't want like full-on glitter. Like, you know, like today's glitter is really high impact, but I wanted something a little bit more subtle, and that's why that luminous formula from Lisa Eldridge is particularly nice, because it just is a little bit more easier to wear, and just, yeah, I suppose more of an everyday glitter or shimmer topper shade. It can be worn on its own or over any color because it is, you know, quite sheer. So I just love that product. It has like such a nice sparkle to it. I am going to be filming the close-up swatches like I did with my last video, so you'll be able to see everything a little bit better, because I know the lighting is not great and I'm using natural light. So obviously if you have low light or artificial light, you're going to see the sparkle a lot more than you would with natural light. The Lisa Eldridge Luminous formula is described as a medium payoff with a semi-transparent base, glossy lid top coat effect. The palette itself is €59, but the singles are, it's £11 or €14, $14. It's just such a lovely formula. You can apply it with your finger, you can apply it with a brush. You know, it's described as silver, but like to me that's kind of very neutral. It's very like rosy, you know, just a really, really easy shade to wear. And then it looks more impactful when you apply it over a deeper base. So that is one of my favorites, and obviously I wore it on my wedding day. So if you are somebody who wants a shimmer for their wedding day or for an event and you don't want to wear like a glitter or a high impact shine, that formula is really nice for that. Sticking with Lisa Eldridge, my second shadow is another Lisa Eldridge one, and it's from the Sorcery palette. If you've watched my content, you may be able to guess this, but it is the shade Mercurial, and again this is one of the luminous formula. That is it. That has a little bit more of a wet look, kind of high impact than the other shade. It has a bit more of a base to it, so as you can see it does have a bit more shine than the other shade. That is my finger after the swatch. So it is that really beautiful duochrome. Like I just absolutely love that one. That's probably one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. It's just like incredible shade. Mercurial is described as a prismatic green to heather duochrome. And you can see, you know, it has that kind of greeny lilac kind of or lavender shift to it. It's such a gorgeous shade. It just doesn't do it justice. If you were to see this under low light, it's incredible. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it there. But as you can see, it's definitely more high impact than Supernova. You know, they're not too different. If you look at that way, this is kind of more of a lilac base, whereas this is more of a pink base. They both have quite a light base, but I think the shimmer is a little bit more impactful in Mercurial. It's just such a gorgeous shade. I absolutely love that. The way that I like to wear these kinds of eyeshadows is to apply a base of either a liquid or cream or powder eyeshadow, just like a matte or whatever it is, and then just pat the eyeshadow on top. And that way it kind of brings out the eyeshadow a little bit more. I've worn them on their own as well, but I like to kind of have just some kind of a base underneath. They work really well with the likes of the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Silk liquid eyeshadows, or I used to wear it a lot with the Half Magic Chrome Addiction paints or the Hindash colour fluids. They're just shades that go really well with any eyeshadow, and that's why I love them. Those two are in palettes, but you can buy them as singles, so that's why I included them. So they're €14 to buy as singles. I think Supernova might be out of stock, or Mercurial is out of stock. One of them is out of stock, I think, at the moment. If you add your email on the website, it will notify you when they're back in stock if you are wanting to pick up one of those. They're just like, I just love that formula. It's just so easy. I know I'm never going to overdo it because they're so kind of easy to control. You can kind of do a sheer wash, or you can build them up and get something a little bit more high impact. So that's what I love about those formulas. They're just kind of like, yeah, like that kind of everyday glitter that is just very, very easy. So I absolutely love those two. Next is a brand that I mentioned in my last video as well, and this is one of their other shades. This is the Bodyography Glitter Pigment in the shade Celestial. So Bodyography have loads of shades. I think they have 20 shades at this stage. Celestial is described as a pink brown. I would say it's kind of like a peachy rosy gold, but like more of a champagne neutral shade. Let's do a swatch. Actually matches my nails. The only thing about these is when you get lower down in the tub, it's kind of harder to get your nail in, but that is it on my finger. So you can see that that has more warmth to it than those other two. but it's that kind of like a peachy, rosy gold shade. It's probably in between those two shades in the amount of shimmer it gives, but you can build it up as well. That's my finger after the swatch. It's just such a gorgeous shade. Bodyography have, yeah, about 20 shades. Some of them, like the one I mentioned in the last video, Off the Hook, that's more of a one and done. It has more base pigment to it, whereas Celestial is that little bit more of a topper shade. It has got a base pigment to it, but it is more of a topper shade. This is probably one of my most worn out of all of them. I have loads of footage of me applying this, so I'll insert some of that, but it is just so nice. When you want some kind of a shimmer in the center of your lid, but you don't want like gold or silver, this is a little bit more in between. I mean, it's definitely more warm, but it's, you know, it's just a nice kind of maybe a little bit more neutral. Such an easy product to use. That formula is just excellent. I mentioned it in my last video as well, but I love the Bodyography formula. I think it's one of the best eyeshadow formulas out there. If you like shimmer, if you like glitter, it's really easy to use and there's hardly any fallout. It's just a very easy eyeshadow to use. The only thing like I said is once you kind of get down a little bit more, it can be harder to get your finger in, but you can always use it with the brush. You know, it's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I just love that. They do have a few other shades that are toppers that I love as well. They have one called Halo, which is like a silver, like a white silver kind of a topper. They have a pink or a purple, I think that's called Aura Glow, and then they have a blue one called Blue Morpho. They also have one called Spirit Quartz, which is like a white gold, and those are all lovely toppers as well. So if you want kind of a few different options, have a look at the Bodyography shade range, because they have just such beautiful shades and I just use them all the time. Like, I've had Celestial, I think is my newest one out of all of the Bodyography ones that I have. I wanted it for years and then I eventually got it, and I just love it. I've used it so much. But it's just such a gorgeous shade. So as you can see, like, those are three quite, you know, they're quite different. They all kind of give the same effect, but they're just slightly different colors depending on what you're going for. So yeah, Bodyography I just absolutely love it. It's called a cushion gel formula, so it's just very easy to apply with either fingers or your brushes. They're $25 or £22. You can get them on the Bodyography website or on Guru Makeup Emporium as well. They are fragrance, vegan and cruelty free, and yeah, I just love them. I just think it's just such a nice formula, and I've just like, it's probably one of my most used single eyeshadows. So I'll insert some footage of me applying that, but I just love that shade. Like with my last video, it wouldn't be a video about glitters and shimmers without doing an Urban Decay Moondust. So in my last video I mentioned Lithium, which has more of a base pigment. It's more of a like a brown silver. This is in a palette. It's the shade Cosmic Cowgirl, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar to the shade Cosmic. This is it. So we're going to do a little swatch. It's that kind of a white silver shade. So again, it's a little bit different to the others. Really nice shimmer effect to that one. There's a lot of glitter particles in it. Yeah, it is very similar to the shade Cosmic. It's called Cosmic Cowgirl. I think it could be the same thing, but this is in the little Moondust palettes that you can get. I have it on my inner corner today, and then I have another one on my actual lid, but that's Cosmic Cowgirl on the inner corner. I know it's kind of cheating because this one is in a palette, but the shade Cosmic from Urban Decay, the single shade, is very, very similar, and it is that kind of white, kind of pearl, almost creamy pearl shift to it, and it's just so beautiful. Such a versatile shade because you can kind of wear it over anything. There's $25 in the single pan, or €23, around €23, and they are meant to be 16-hour wear as well. I haven't tested that out, but it just has that really nice micro fine glitter that it just looks amazing. Really gives that kind of glossy wet look effect, especially under low light. It's gorgeous. So that is another favorite one. It's not the exact single cosmic shadow, but it's very, very similar. So I had to include it because it's like one of my most used. I love that one. They're cult products for a reason, you know, they just are really, really nice. And the other shades in that are lovely as well, but Cosmic Cowgirl is more of a topper shade. It has less base pigment to it. So that is it. You can kind of see it's kind of creamy. I just love that shade. Next up is another single eyeshadow that I've actually hit pan on, which I can't remember the last time I hit pan on an eyeshadow. This has to be my most used out of all of these. Like, it just has to be. And I know it's less. I think it's, what is it? It's 1 gram. So it is quite small, but it is the Half Magic shade Blushing Lizard. So you can see I haven't just hit pan, I have really, really hit pan. So it is really well loved. I use this so much. It's similar to the Lisa Eldridge Mercurial in that it has that kind of like, it kind of has like a lilac blue shift. Blushing Lizard is described as a mauve taupe with blue reflects, velvety and buildable pigments, duochrome, and it is $14. So the same price as the Lisa Eldridge single eyeshadow, and €12.95. You can get them on Beauty Bay, but Beauty Bay seems to have like hardly any of the Half Magic products in stock. So I don't know whether they are phasing them out and they're not going to be stocked there anymore, or whether they're just waiting on a restock. I don't know. I know I had to like wait for ages for this to be restocked because it got sold out when it was first launched and I couldn't get it, and I didn't want to order from the Half Magic website because the shipping to Ireland for one product just didn't seem worth it to me, and I just like, I'll just wait until they get it on Beauty Bay, but it's currently sold out there. That is it. It's kind of hard to swatch this because it's like, again, it's that like really creamy formula, kind of like it's not, it's a bit more dry than Wet Pebble, but it still is kind of like a creamy formula. So that is it. It is so beautiful. I love it. It's kind of pinky to me, more so than like a mauve. I'm gonna put a bit more on because I feel like it's kind of hard to get into that. That is it there. Yeah, you definitely need to see this in a different light for it to be more visible, but it's just such a gorgeous shade. So it's like a blue, kind of a pinky purpley blue reflect. You can kind of see when I move back the difference in the base pigments of all of those, but it is such a gorgeous shade. Lots of footage of me applying that and swatching it, so I will add that as well. But that is, yeah, one of my favorites. I mean, look, you can see how much I've used. That is it once it's swatched on my finger, so you can really see the base pigment there. Blushing Lizard is just one of those shades. It looks incredible over any kind of a base. It looks great over the Half Magic Chrome Addiction mattes. I've worn it over the shade Wild Caught, which is the pink, and Sky Juice, which is the kind of periwinkle blue, and it looks amazing over both of those because it really shows off the shift in it. It looks really nice over like browns or like minks and that kind of thing as well. So it just is really versatile. And then you can just apply like a sheer wash of that, or just apply it with your finger and press it on and build it up, and it just gives such a gorgeous effect to your eye. I just love it. I love that bluey purpley pink shift. I just think it's so nice, and I just love that formula as well. So that is one of my favorites. As you can see, I will need to get another one because that's one eyeshadow that I will be repurchasing once it's gone. Another Half Magic shadow. I couldn't choose between the two of these, and I had to pick both of them. But it is the Glitterpuck, and this is the original shade. It's the shade Dopamine Sparkle. It's kind of like a, what is it described as? It's described as a pressed fairy dust for eyes, body and face. It is described as a light peach with champagne reflect, and it is $29.50 in dollars or $27.25 in euro from Beauty Bay, but I think it's sold out again. So come on, Beauty Bay, get your act together. That is it. You can see it's a really big pop because it's meant to be used kind of, you can be used anywhere. The thing about this is it's very delicate, I would say. They tell you to keep the little bit of foam that goes on top of it and make sure that you put that on top and tighten the lid really tightly so that it doesn't dry out because it's water based. But it is such a gorgeous glitter. Let's do a swatch. It actually really matches my nails. That is it. Kind of looks a little bit more flaky than the other colours. That is it. So that is, yeah, you can really see the shift or the shine there. That one's really particularly shiny, that one. I'll do a little bit more just so you can see how it builds up. But again, it's lovely on its own because it does have that like light base pigment to it, but you can build it up as well. Look, you can really build it up so it's like a really kind of reflective, like you can really see how that is so shiny. I love that product. They just came out with a gold, like a champagne gold one, and they also have a silver, so if that would be your preference. It's a big thing. It does have a 6-month expiry on it, and I think that's because it's like a water-based shadow. Kind of feels a little bit cooling when you apply it, but mine still works, so I'm going to use it because like I'm not going to get rid of it. But it is, you can see how shiny that is. That's how it looks on my finger afterwards. I don't know if I buy the other two shades because I have shades that are similar to those two, but I just really loved the pink. Obviously that was the only shade when I bought it, when it launched, but it is just such a gorgeous reflective, like you can really see there, it's like very wet look. It's so nice. So I just really love that. I love that formula and I love that colour. It's just really gorgeous. It's more expensive than Blushing Lizard, but you're getting more for it, so it just depends on what your preference would be. They do have loads of other single eyeshadows that would be considered like toppers, that kind of have like maybe like a blue or a purple or a green shift to them. But I just love the Half Magic eyeshadows. I love all of their products that I've tried, but the eyeshadows are just really special. I love how they layer over other products, over their matte eye paints. I just love how they look. They're just like, Dopamine Sparkle is like the perfect name for this product because it does give you that like hit of dopamine. It makes you happy. It's just fun and shiny, and I feel like I can't be sad when I'm wearing their eyeshadows because they're just so fun and I just love them. Next I have a liquid shadow, and this is the Danessa Myricks Colorfix foil in the shade Milky Way. It's 10 mils of product. I've had this for a few years now. I probably should get rid of it, but it still works, so I'm gonna keep it. I have this on my eyes today on like my eyelid, and then I have the Urban Decay one on my inner corner, but this is on my eyelid, and I used the smallest amount of this because a little bit goes a very long way. And it is another one that is multi-use, like the Half Magic Glitterpuck. This can be used on your eyes, your face, your lips, anywhere. That's gonna go such a long way. I might just like put a bit of that on the back of my hand and just use a little bit so you can kind of see better the effect that you get. It's like molten metal nearly. This is it. You can really see the shine there. It's definitely more shiny than the Half Magic, which is kind of crazy because the Half Magic is so shiny. Milky Way is described as a silvery beige foil. Glittery finish, multi-dimensional pearls. Yeah, it can be used as eyeshadow, liner and brow, lips, cheeks, topper, gloss. And it is $22 on the Danessa Myricks website, and you can get it for between like 25 and 28 euro depending on where you get it from in the EU. I think on the Danessa Myricks EU website it's 28.50. I think you can get it on Cult Beauty for 27, and then on Sephora UK it's like between 22 and 24 pounds. The thing is, you're never going to get through this because it is a 10 ml size, so it is small, but for the amount that you need to get the effect that you can get, you can really see that it is kind of like a beigey silvery kind of a color. It doesn't really have much of a base pigment. Again, if I kind of move it back so you can see it beside the other shades, it doesn't really have much of a base pigment, but it has such a shiny reflection. But these are amazing because once they set, they really stay, And I mean, I have used the Danessa Myricks Colorfix for years and I absolutely love them. She has more finishes now since I last bought one of them, but they're just so nice. So you can really see how shiny that is. So if you're somebody who wants high impact shine, the Danessa Myricks Colorfix foils are like so good. A few different shades in this particular finish. Then they have a metallic finish and I can't remember what it is, but they are all really very shiny. They also have matte and other ones. So I just absolutely love that. It's just such a nice product, and the fact that like you can use it anywhere on the face. Danessa Myricks is really such a makeup artist friendly brand, and I feel like the packaging of these is great because you can just squeeze out a tiny amount onto the back of your hand or onto a palette and work from there, and you get so much for your money with these as well. So they are definitely good value for money, but it's just a case of, will someone like me use this up? No, I'm not, like I'd find it so hard to use this whole thing up. So it is a lot of product for the likes of me, but if you're a makeup artist, you may use it up easier than I would. But again, you just need such a small amount. Like I used a tiny amount to get that effect from on my eyelids, but it really does give such a nice kind of a wet look glossy. I mean, I could have applied more and almost made it more opaque. Like that is it kind of on the back of my hand. It really is like a molten, almost like a chrome. So you can build it up as well if you wanted to do like a graphic eye look and kind of apply a layer and then apply another layer. Love, 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 love that. The last one from the single eyeshadows is, this is a brand called Joocyee and it is a Chinese brand. This is their shade D127 and it is called, I think it's like called Dream Butterfly or Dream Catcher or something. It's described as a silver glitter with pink and purple undertone. I guess it kind of is. It is the least expensive out of all of them. I think it's like $8.80 or something. It's like under €9 for this. I got it on Yes Style. They have a bunch of different shades in the Joocyee line. You may have seen Joocyee have those like jelly stick things where it's like a product that you can use on your eyes or your cheeks or whatever, but it's like a jelly kind of a thing that you twist up. It just looks really funny. I love the color of this. I love the kind of like, it's quite light. It's actually very similar to my nails. This is Essie Birthday Girl, it's called. Yeah, it was my birthday this week, so I had to put on some birthday girl nails. So yeah, this is a lovely shade. This is it. You need a tiny amount, like look at that. Can kind of see it's more silvery there. So you could use this really high impact, or you could just kind of dust it over your eyeshadow. But again, it's a nice topper because it doesn't have much of a pigment, kind of a little more cool toned. You can kind of see the silvery lilac. It makes Milky Way actually look a lot warmer by comparison. But when you look at all the shades together, like they're all kind of, you know, you can see how these are a little bit more not as shiny and then goes up to like super shiny. Yeah, I like that one because it can be kind of like built up more or worn over. But that is all of the shades. So there is like obviously slight kind of subtle differences to some of them, but I do think there's something for everyone there, whether you like a subtle shimmer or you like really high impact, and whether you like a liquid or a powder or whatever it is. You know, if you're going for like a high impact topper shade, the Sea Beauty formulas are incredible. I'm going to show you another Sea Beauty one now in a minute, but those are the ones that I feel like are ideal, like topper shades, wet look. Depending on which one you go for, you can get a really nice subtle sheen, or you can go for like a really high impact, the ones down here. So, and you can see like the base pigment, I would say Blushing Lizard probably has the deepest base pigment, maybe Celestial, but the rest of them all have very little base pigment, so it just makes them quite versatile, you know. But yeah, I absolutely love all of these shades. This Joocyee one is my most recent one out of all of them. It's just such a gorgeous eyeshadow. I was wanting that one for ages, and it's just so nice. So Yeah, those are all of the ones that are like, can be bought as singles. Even though I don't own them as singles, all of them, but they can be bought as singles. I'm going to show you some that are in palettes or duos. They're ones that I use a lot as well, but some of them are limited edition, and then some of them are, because they're in a palette, is kind of, I suppose, a little bit more difficult because you might not want to buy a whole palette for one eyeshadow, but I wanted to show them anyway. I think the newest one in my collection, and this was sent in pure, and this is the Cherry F palette. This is the number, it's number 8 or 9, I can't remember. I'll put the name of it, but this is their all shimmer palette, and so there is really like one of everything there. So if you were looking for like shimmery wet look toppers and you kind of just want everything in the one place, a palette like this is great. I think it's like around 20, maybe 30 euro, I think, for this. You can get it on C Beauty Mall, and I think YesStyle have this as well. I have got a swatch video of this. I'm not going to swatch them all now, but I have got a swatch video of this so you can see how they all look. These are C Beauty as well, so you can see that they like really are shiny. Like, it's not going to be for everybody because they are more impactful and there is more colours there. But if you wanted like a bunch of colours of toppers in one place, this is like a really great palette to go for because it has a bit of everything and they're just really great formulas. Another one, this one is discontinued. It was a limited edition, but I believe that they are coming out with new versions of this palette, and I think they're going to have this shade in it. So I'm going to show it and hopefully they will. If not, you know, no harm done. This is the Isamaya Industrial palette, and this is the shade Flesh, which is a really, kind of like shiny shade. That is it. But it's just such a nice, like, wet look, shimmery shade. So hopefully, as you can see, it's kind of a bit scattered looking, but it's just such a nice wet look shimmery shade. I do also have the shade Sweat in this, which is this one. This is another really nice topper. I'll show you. This is more of a kind of a shifty kind of a, that one. Let's see, we'll do it here. So those are two really gorgeous shades. I've seen kind of like sneak peeks of the new Isamaya palette, and I think that those shades are going to be coming back. So fingers crossed they are, because they're so nice. Like, that is them after the swatches. Sweat kind of has a similar vibe to Blushing Lizard, but it's not as glittery. It's kind of more of a sheen. But I just love those two shades. They're just really, really nice. And I love that palette, even though it's limited edition, but hopefully from the pictures I've seen, it looks like those shades are making a comeback in her new palette. So fingers crossed they are, because I loved those shades and I loved that palette. So hopefully they will. So those are the Isamaya ones. I have another little palette from a C Beauty brand, and this is the GIRLCULT palette. Oh, I can't remember. It's number 56. I can't remember what the name of it is, because when they translate it, it's hard to know. In different websites it has different names, so I'm not sure what the exact name of it is, but it's number 56. So this is it. I do have a swatch video of this, but I was kind of thinking of this particular shade when I took this one out. So that is such a nice topper. Again, that kind of like champagne, you know, very little base pigment, but it's just a really nice shiny shade. And I'll insert the footage of me swatching that whole palette, but that's the kind of shade that I was thinking about. The other shades are kind of topper shades as well, but they have more base pigment to it. But that's just really, really nice. So if you wanted like a really all shimmer palette, that's such a gorgeous palette. Like C Beauty, they really like nailed those shimmery formulas. And yeah, I absolutely love that palette. It's so gorgeous, and the packaging is like so cute. If you haven't seen GIRLCULT before, definitely have a look at their products, because their packaging and the finishes of them are incredible. Like, they're just stunning. Last but not least is, this is a duo, and it is the Auric Cosmetics Smoke Reflect Duo in the shade Temper. It has a little pot with a topper shade here. That's the topper shade. And then on the bottom is a like a kind of a creamy cream shadow. Yeah, so the top has that, and then the bottom is a cream shadow. So it can be worn separately or together, depending on what you're going for. Again, I have footage of me swatching that, so I will insert that, but I'm just going to just show you the topper shade on its own. It's just such beautiful packaging. I love this packaging. They sent me this. I did buy one of them when they originally launched, but they sent me this one. That is it. And let's see, will we do it? I'll do it here. That is it. I'll just do another layer of that. So again, like as you can imagine, if you put that over a cream shadow, it's going to be really reflective. But on its own, it just has like hardly any base pigment, and it's just that really nice kind of a rose gold shade. So kind of a similar idea to Celestial, but maybe a little bit more subtle. If you're one of those one and done people, the cream eyeshadow and topper is such a good combination, because you could use either of them on their own, or then use them together and you get more shine, more of a look. So I will insert the footage of me trying that on and swatching it, because I have footage of that, like close-up footage, but it is such a nice shade. I love that one as well. Just so easy. Yeah, they're all lovely as well, but I didn't want to include them in the main video because they're all kind of like duos or palettes that you can't buy separately. So it may not be as appealing to some people, but the ones that I have can all be bought on their own. And again, a range of price points ranging from the Joocyee one, which is like 8 something, like under €9. I suppose the most expensive, if you were to look at it in singles, would be the Glitterpuck, because the Eldridge singles are €14. The Glitterpuck and the Danessa Myricks Colorfix are the most expensive, and then like the Bodyography, I think it's $25. The Moondust eyeshadow singles are around $25 as well, and then the Half Magic Blushing Lizard, that's around $14. So they're the same price as the Eldridge. So it's a range of brands, range of price points, finishes and base pigments. So there's something for everyone depending on your preferences, and you know, not everyone wants a blinding, like really wet look eyeshadow. Some people just want something a little bit more subtle. So there's something kind of for everyone's taste there, I think. And you know, they're going to look different depending on what you apply them on top of. So I'll just give you one kind of last look at those, but again, I will have a short form video showing all of those. I'd say these three, the Joocyee, the Danessa Myricks and the Glitterpuck by Half Magic, are the most shiny. And then I'd say these are all kind of similar enough in how shiny they are, but you know, it depends on how you use them as well. It depends on whether you use them over a primer, or whether you apply them with your brushes or your fingers, or you know, you can pat them on. So there's lots of different ways to make these kinds of products work for your preferences. But I thought this would be a good video to do because the one and done eyeshadow video was received really well, and this is one of my favorite categories of makeup. I love one and done eyeshadows. I love topper shimmery wet look shades. I love them. So I was happy to talk about all of those products, and yeah, I'd love to know if you've tried any of those products, or if this kind of product interests you. I'd be curious to know. So yeah, that is it. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a little thumbs up, leave me a comment and let me know if you've tried any of these products. I would love to know that. Or do you have a topper shade that you love that I haven't mentioned? Because I'd love to know that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with another video. Goodbye.